Joining us, this is Live with Miami's Community News, and I'm Michael Miller. Our very special guest today is Lisa Bonich from the city of South Miami. You are now a commissioner over there at South Miami.
I've been demoted. I've been freed, maybe.
So you've been in office for 2 years now?
Yes.
And tell us about the ride, what it's been like, and is it what you thought? Is it better, more attention, and how do you balance all those things?
Okay, is it what I thought? Kind of. It's been very interesting, that is for certain. I guess I had this picture of kind of what happens when you go into office, like how people act, what they say, what they do. It's nothing like that. I've learned the filter for me still doesn't work. I say things and people are like, did you just say that? And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. But I found some people want to talk to you because for whatever reason, now you have some title and you're interesting, but I don't think I'm any more interesting than I was before. But I've definitely learned that having a big mouth gets me in trouble a lot. That's it. But that was the same before.
So there you are, trying to balance all the things that you think that are the right way to go, and then you have your colleagues up there, many who are on the same or the other side. So how do you balance all that between what you think is right, what your constituents may be calling you about, and what the other sides from the dais are doing? How do you find your path with that?
You know, it's always an interesting thing because though we're a nonpartisan city, I am literally the only conservative sitting there. So I'm the only Republican, 4 Democrats. So by nature, we're going to have a different point of view, I think, at the get-go. And I don't know why I thought that residents would be calling every day and giving me their ideas or no, it really doesn't happen. I'm like, please, people, pay attention, wake up, let's go. But you've got a few residents who pay a lot of attention. They usually don't call me. They'll call the mayor. Because I don't know if it's because they think that he'll fix it. Is that because it's the mayor or because of the personality? I think it's his personality. I think everybody feels like he's so approachable. Is he? And he is. And unless you're really on the wrong side of him, he's a fun person to talk to. And so I think people see the title of mayor and then they speak to him and he's very gregarious. And you know, most times he's willing, able, and going to bat for you. And when he isn't, he'll tell you from the get-go, hey, I'm not doing that. So I think he gets like 97% of the phone calls or emails or what have you, and the rest of us get the 3%. So when there's an item that's come before you, you've heard all the evidence, whatever it's going to be, you ever have this thing, well, I could go over here, I could do this, or I could do that. And do you toy with yourself about, well, which one? And they're both okay if you voted for it or against it. And how do you process that? You know, that generally doesn't really happen for me. I guess the way I look at things is, number one, is it good for the city? Number two, does it, save us money, spend our money? Number three, how is it doing whatever of those two it is? And once I make up my mind about that, I think unless there's something very, like an extenuating circumstance, I'm usually pretty clear by the time I sit down. Not to say that I can't change my mind because somebody might say something I didn't think about, but the majority of the time I think going in, I'm pretty clear with where I'm at. So frequently I know people are supposed to hear all the evidence before they make up their minds, but certainly as evidence, as presentations are being made from, if they're both sides, certainly you're sort of deciding as you go. My question is, at the last minute, you're up there and you're going to vote this way, and at the last minute, somebody brings something up and you go, oh, that's it. I'm going to go to the other side. Does that happen? I would say in the last 2 years, that's probably happened maybe once or twice, because we get so much of the information beforehand so that we can be educated by the time somebody comes and speaks to us, that getting something at the nth hour is not very common. Has it happened? I'm sure it has. But it's not as common as people would think, I don't think. In criminal cases, everybody knows. The aha moment? Everybody's got it. The defense knows, the prosecution knows, there's no surprise. It's only the interpretation of the facts. There's rarely anything that's brand new. So look, the guy did it, okay, and here's one, the other guy's on the other side. So South Miami has had a renaissance of sort, which has been exemplified by some of the wonderful
entertainment spots are going to be available in the next couple of years, including across from Winn-Dixie. There's an apartment building there, but more importantly, there's a grocery store there.
Fresh Market, here
Fresh
I
Market,
come.
finally. Okay, Fresh Market. That's going to be a big deal. That's going to be South Miami's new hottest place to be seen and seen. I'm going to walk up and I'm going to be pushing a grocery cart around.
Gosh.
I'm going to be looking for my brother's future ex-wife.
Can I tell you, isn't that like what happened at the Publix at Dayland when it opened? Oh my goodness. That place was crazy. Everybody wanted to meet everybody there.
Isn't it great? Where's the tomatoes? Where is it? So that is going to happen. Well, do you know when the building or the grocery store is going to be open?
I don't know why in my mind I thought it was the end of this year, but it might be sooner. I don't know, because it seems like that's going gangbusters.
So the people that are going to live there and shop there, there's a lot of spillover, especially for the people that live there. They're going to go, let's go downstairs and let's walk around. All right?
One would hope.
Yes, we hope so. And so this might be one of the great things that on 73rd Street, maybe some businesses are going to flourish. And then we have on the other side of Sunset Drive, the Shops of Sunset. A little history. Years ago, a public entity bought the property, $100+ million. They finally got approval for this magnificent structure. The pandemic came. About 6 months in, they said, we're out. All right, big public company. They sold it at a gigantic loss. And these people who just bought it, got it at a bargain. But at the time, that was probably the right price. Except for, and that was the way timing is. And now it's worth, I don't know, who knows what it was, but a lot. All right. And so the plan is to put a hotel there and some condos there. I suppose there's going to be a bunch of restaurants in there.
Yes, you're going to have, if I'm not mistaken, 2 apartment buildings. Those are the ones that'll go up first, which are fronting Sunset. Then you've got shops, you've got flexible space, I think, for offices, you've got a hotel. I think at this point, you name it, they'll probably have space for it.
Those people will be going to, now Sunset Drive used to be a long road. Now, all of a sudden, with all those people, it's relatively short period from US 1 to 57th Avenue, maybe a little farther, east and south. But there could be a lot of people walking around South Miami in 5 years.
From your mouth to God's ear.
Yeah, it's just plain as day. All right, and then a hotel's going to go up.
Yeah, and
right?
And if you think that the apartment buildings go up first, you've got these 2 towers. I don't know how many apartments are going to be, but it'll be significant, I imagine. Even as everything else goes, because they're like, oh, that could take 10 years, 12 years, however many years somebody wants to say that it'll take for that whole thing to flesh out. You've got those apartment buildings coming up first. Those people are going to walk out of their apartments.
Yes. And it's really, and when we look at it, South Miami somehow got behind, for a decade or 15 years maybe, right?
Yeah.
And I remember reading one point there were less people in year over year for a couple of years a while back, and I go, how's that possible? Well, it was easy because nobody wanted to do anything.
Yep.
Everything was sort of stagnant. And I see at the related projects, one of the buildings completely done. It is gorgeous, absolutely knocked down, beautiful, all right?
Amazing.
A matching one is going up next to it.
Yeah.
I see Academia.
Academica.
They bought a piece of property right next to their current one, and they're putting up some more things there, some more classes.
That's actually going to be really cool. If I remember correctly, they're going to have, they do Academica all over the world.
Yes.
They reach out all over the place. So they're going to have like their computer brain in that building to reach out to all those places. And then they're going to have, meeting rooms. They're going to have some apartments because like when my kids went to SOMI, their Spanish teacher came from Spain and taught at SOMI for, I want to tell you, 2 years, and then went back to Spain. My children speak much better Spanish because they had a Spaniard come and teach them, and so they have stuff like that, and they have apartments where I imagine some of them will be used for those professionals that are coming back and forth. But that building's one to watch. I think it's going to be interesting what happens.
And so South Miami is maturing, all right, and it's wonderful to see that. So let's talk about where the residents of people that live here in the residential part, what are some things that they can look forward to?
We're actually doing a landscape study for the entire city. Up till now, we don't have what you would consider, I don't want to say cookie cutter because that's not the right verbiage, but if you look at Coral Gables, they've got, I'm making this up, I have no idea. They've got 10 different shrubs that their landscaping crew can pick from. They've got 25 different trees, and anywhere you go in the city is a combination of whatever it is that they have in their wheelhouse. We didn't have that. It was just like, oh, let's grab this and put it here. It doesn't work that way. Everything then looks disjointed. So one of the things we're doing is the landscape plan for the whole city. So when you come to a roundabout in the city, that roundabout is going to be similar to every other roundabout in the city. There's a kind of a handbook of sorts.
And that stuff ties it all together.
Of course, when you have that kind of visual continuity, you know where you are. You connect this neighborhood with this neighborhood with this neighborhood.
And we saw, I think Josh and the team over there put certain street signs. And when that got done, I went, look at that, all right? And you felt this, it was sort of like the crown molding in the house. You go, look at that.
When it wasn't there, you didn't miss it. But when you got it, all of a sudden you're like, wait, this is my city still.
Yes.
Oh, I'm still in my city.
Yes. So there's a new gentleman who's a recently elected commissioner. His name is
Danny Rodriguez.
Okay, Danny Rodriguez. I met him for the second time. Seems to be outgoing and friendly, right? And the mayor's still there. He was reelected. You, Danny,
Brian Corey became the new Lisa.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Apparently, I became Commissioner Liebman at the last
these
meeting.
young folks, they grow this beard for a week, then they shave it off, and they put it back on. For other people like me, I couldn't grow it if I had to. But I'd see this picture. He said, well, that was a week ago. I don't have it today. But that's the new sort of style there.
Yep.
And City Hall inside looks wonderful. All right, so congratulations to that. I understand there may be a proposal going to City Hall for rebuilding. Do I have that right?
Yes, it was actually approved. 13th floor came in, and they were part of the bid process. They were the ones that were selected, and now we're just waiting to see what they're going to be coming up with. But it's in the works.
So they were selected, right? And they're going to present a plan. And this is the plan to have City Hall in that building?
Yes, City Hall, the police department, the library are going to, hopefully, if it all works out, stay on the property. And then they're going to have apartments around it. The Silva Martin building will be staying where it's at. So you'll have some changes, but hopefully geographically everything will remain where it is.
Okay, and we've been talking about the old inspection station for about 50 years, all right? It's pretty, and it used to be like this old piece of property not worth anything. Now it's worth a lot. Over 15 years, that's what happened. Any plans for that, or because of this going on, that there's no plans for it now?
As far as I know, there's no plans for it, but that could change, what time is it? In 5 minutes? I always say that lot is kind of difficult because you got a square over here and then like another square over here. It's like, somebody with bad teeth.
Yeah, traffic is tight through there. Or mobility, as the county government likes to call it.
Yes.
So what is it that we can look towards in the next couple of years coming out of City Hall, and how the citizens can benefit?
Well, I mean, if you look at kind of where I don't even want to say walked towards, we've ran towards in the last 2 years, we are doing a placemaking study for the downtown area. We're trying to see how we can activate our downtown area better. So we'll keep moving forward with that. You've got, like I said, the landscape plan. We've got a new director of public works. So now that team is all together. We've put, I think, and when you hire someone that's amazing, like we did with our city manager, Chip Iglesias, when you hire someone amazing, other amazing people want to come and work here, right? And so I think we're starting to build the team that will be able to push the button on actually making things happen that we are crazy enough to come up with. So you're going to see changes in the way we look, changes in the way we feel when we're downtown. And I think when you've done essentially nothing for such a long time, anything is a humongous deal. And along with that, you have people who love it, people who hate it. But I think for the most part, I'm always like, just give it a chance. You're going to love it. And I really, truly believe that. I think that when you have, you've got across the street from Casa Cuba, you've got those apartments going up. You've got one block in from Sunset by the Metro Rail station. You've got actual condos going up there. So we're shifting and grooving, but it's something we really have to do.
Yes. When
you've done nothing, everything seems drastic.
And it seems that that's what's happening. It was pent up for so long, and we know there's on the corner of Sunset Drive and US 1, there's a restaurant there, right? 2 restaurants, and And I understand that property's been sold, all right?
Yes.
And some apartment building's going to go there. The restaurant's going to be able to move over. But certainly, it sounds like within 5 years, that's going to be a done deal over there. And so when we look at South Miami, it's really tremendous. It's really an amazing thing has been done. And the government and the people of the 80s and 90s, they must be like cringing, right? And they kept it the way they wanted to for as long as they could. But as I tell my dentist, he goes, Michael, you got that molar back there. And I said, listen, I know one day I won't have it, but I want to keep it back there as long as I possibly can. And so that's what those people did, and I'm happy, for them. Happy when they arrived and they did it, and now they've sort of gone on their way. And the team that's there now is extraordinary. And the picayune nonsense that was going on before seems to have, for the most part, it's gone away.
Yeah, I think it's gone away, and even when we don't agree, we all have to find a way to make it work, right? So if you don't agree with someone, you've got to let whatever you didn't agree on go with whatever that item was, because if not, I think imagine it would become what it was at one point, where everybody's just fighting because I didn't like you wore that checked shirt today, and I didn't like you yesterday. That checked shirt just made me angrier. Like, what?
So tell us about the community center, what's going to be happening over there. Anything new that's going to be happening there? Well,
in the community center, we are updating all kinds of things. As a matter of fact, we just approved new fitness equipment. We've got that, oh my goodness, what's the name of the building? The Mobley building, yes, where they've done some changes. We have the sensory lab now. There's Commissioner Kaye came up. Well, you know what? Progress.
Yes.
Commissioner Kaye has a financial brain lab or something like that. So we're doing little changes all the time in the community center. I think you're going to see a lot of changes throughout our park system. Like at Palmer Park, there's new lights. There's just stuff going on all over.
What is the budget of the city nowadays?
I want to say it's 29.
Back in the 80s, I think it was 10 and 12, where everything was a struggle. So I'm happy to see this. And by the way, for the people that are sort of naysayers, well, when those apartments go in, you have the taxes on those, and then you have the people spending the money.
Yep.
That's going to allow us to do more work at our parks and put up the circlescape that's going to be there, and some additional signs, and improve our other parks, and maybe even go buy some more land for parks.
And the way I look at it, people's biggest concern a lot of times is traffic. And I'm like, they're already coming through here. If they live here, they will stop. And I said, and traffic, I look at traffic and I'm like, okay, let's pretend you're US 1. They built this huge building, by the Grove. Those people used to keep going, but they stopped there, which, in theory, alleviated traffic moving down. Then you've got, the ones on 37th Avenue, you've got people living there. If we continue to do that, eventually, right, the traffic will hopefully slow down because people are stopping ahead of us. But I say we also have to think that when they stay with us, we're alleviating traffic going further south.
Yes. My brother says that on 62nd Avenue and 68th Street, if there's ever an apartment building, he's going to take the penthouse, so he won't have to drive to work.
He's a smart man. There's a reason my husband bought an office down the street.
Well, Lisa, always a pleasure with you, and congratulations on your first 2 years, and it's wonderful.
Thank you.
And I hope you are happy serving, and our door is always open to you.
Thank you.
Always our pleasure.
It's always nice talking to you.
Folks, remember, take care of yourselves and your family, and have a great day. Bye now.